Moving to the Raleigh, North Carolina area is a big decision. Today's video is all about breaking down some of the pros and cons of moving to our area so you can decide if it's a good fit for you. And these are not going to be the sugar-coated pros and cons you hear from other YouTube channels out there or from news publications, etc. These are the real nitty-gritty things going on in our market. So let's get started on the side of the positive stuff, the pros of moving to our area. And the number one biggest pro of moving to our area is we are consistently on the list of one of the top places to live in the country. And we get that distinction obviously and naturally because we have so much opportunity here. Raleigh and the surrounding area has a tremendous quality of life. There's lots of stuff to do. We'll get into that later in this video. Lots of opportunities. We're also going to talk about that a little bit later. But overall, it is a great area to live. People are very happy when they move here and live here. And that's why the majority of people just don't leave once they move here. So quality of life is really one of the top pros of living here. Another really great pro of the Raleigh, North Carolina area is our abundant job opportunities. There's lots of parts of this country where the economy is contracting, where it's difficult to find a job opportunity. That's not the case in our area. We have a very nice, robust, varied job environment here where lots of opportunities and a lot of the different sectors are out there, everything from medical to tech to education, just about anything you can imagine, you can find a great job opportunity here in the Raleigh area. It's just simply not the case in other parts of the country. You can come here, you can land on your feet, go to school and get a tech degree and find yourself even more amazing opportunity in the Research Triangle Park or in one of the tech companies around RTP. We just have a really growing job opportunity for so many people, and that is one of the huge positives of our area. As well, another really great pro of our area is we can feel like a big town. We can also feel like a small town depending on where you are looking and living. So Raleigh is really just a catchphrase for the entire region. That includes Wake County, where Cary, Raleigh, Wake Forest, Apex, Holly Springs, etc. are. There's also Chapel Hill in Orange County, Durham in Durham County, and then Johnson County, Franklin County kind of surrounding us. So we're a rather large area, and you can find big city environment like in downtown Raleigh, downtown Durham, even in downtown Cary, downtown Wake Forest, you can find that sort of multi-living, walking to the grocery store and to shops and bars, etc. kind of lifestyle. You also can have the very rural farmland experience where you live out on a number of acres, 30-40 minutes from Raleigh or Durham or wherever. So it's a really great mix depending on the kind of lifestyle you're looking for. You have lots of opportunity to find it here in our area. And that's why big town, small town is one of the really big positives of moving to our area and living in our area. Also, another big pro is there's just lots of things to do here. We have lots of amenities, lots of activities going on all the time, and lots of really great things to do, especially on the outdoors where you can go hiking, biking, etc. There's just a lot to do in our area. It's not this boring city where things are dying and dark and gloomy. We have lots of opportunity, not only for finding a job, but also for doing things and hanging out and making friends, etc. Another big pro of our area, and maybe also a con, is that we get all 4 seasons. Unfortunately, there's times when we get all 4 seasons in the same week. We're filming this in April of 2026, and early this month, it was like 90 degrees and then 60 degrees, all in the same week. It was crazy. Granted, it didn't snow or get really cold, but I mean, I think we got down to the upper 30s at night. So we're getting all the seasons sometimes. It's not always the greatest thing, but basically you just hang out and wait and it'll be whatever season you like next week, more than likely in our area. So I'm joking and saying that we get all 4 seasons. There's some parts of the country that they are summer and center of the sun hot. Those are the 2 seasons they get. We get all 4 seasons, and it's very relatively temperate here. We do get the cold, but we're not like cold for like 8 months of the year. We're more cold like 2.5, 3 months of the year. Same thing with the blistering hot summers. We're hot 2-3 months of the year and not like 9 months of the year, 12 months of the year like other places. So you get all 4 seasons here. That's definitely a pro. Another huge pro of our area is we have some major universities here. In addition to Meredith, and NC Central and Shaw University. You've also got 3 of the national prominent universities in NC State University in Raleigh, Duke University in Durham, and my beloved University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in, you guessed it, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. These major universities that we have and other colleges and universities in our area are a big, big draw. Not only are they bringing people in to go to school there from all over the country and all over the world, but there are also some great job opportunities for professors, researchers, etc. And it's definitely these universities are incubators for opportunities. Lots of really, really great companies have been spun out of these universities, and many of the times build these companies here in our area, which is making our area even better. Beyond the job opportunities and educational opportunities, there's also some really great cultural opportunities. All 3 of the major universities and also Shaw and Central, etc., have some really, really great theater programs and shows and art, as in painting, really, really cool stuff that's enriching the community. And then, of course, you're always getting like restaurants and shops, etc., that spring up around these universities. So some of our coolest restaurants and trendiest shops are around these universities. So they definitely are a wellspring of opportunity and really cool options around them when you have a robust university system like we have here. Another great pro of our area, and I've kind of touched on it a little bit in this video, is we have some really amazing outdoor activities. We have the greenway system, which has been built up in our area, so you can go walking, biking, running, hiking, etc. right there on our greenway system. We've also got a robust set of lakes and ponds and really, really great outdoor activities involved with that, like fishing and boating, kayaking, that sort of thing. Falls Lake is the Neuse River that's been dammed up to be our water supply. And that's, of course, a really, really great opportunity for boating and kayaking and all of that sort of thing. Another really great pro of our area is our location. Raleigh was set up to be the capital of North Carolina because it's in the center of the state. They literally drew from the one end of the state to the other and found pretty much where the middle of the state was, and that was where Raleigh was created as the state capital, which means if you live in this Raleigh regional area, you can be to the mountains in 3-4 hours, depending. You can be to the coast, to the beach, 2-3 hours, depending on where you are. So it's a really great place to live if you want to take a day trip to the mountains or a day trip to the beach, or if you want to go to our wine country, which is sort of between Raleigh and the mountains. You can go there and be in the wine country in 2.5 hours and go sample a bunch of different wines and all of that sort of thing. Really, really cool place to live. Beyond that, of course, you can easily get to Florida, you can get to DC, Atlanta, all different areas by car. And because of our airport, you can get to just about anywhere on the planet really, really quickly. So centrally located in our state makes Raleigh and living in Raleigh a huge pro. Also, by and large, most of the necessities you're going to need in life are right here in our area. We have the Costco's and the Sam's and the BJ's, and we've got the Wegmans grocery stores and all the different stores and the Whole Foods, and just about anything you need, you can find right here in our region, 30-40 minute drive at worst. Beyond that, we have this really cool new thing called Amazon. I'm joking, you know about Amazon, but we have the ability to get Amazon in 2 hours now. They have some major warehouses here in our area, so you can order Amazon and have it delivered in a couple hours. Super cool. So bottom line, we've got a lot of the different shops, restaurants, and grocery stores that you would want and expect and need, Trader Joe's, etc., right here in our area. So it makes the transition from wherever you live currently to moving here that much smoother. Another great pro of our Raleigh area is our sports scene. Beyond the universities we talked about earlier that have really great football and basketball and baseball programs, we also have the National Hockey League, NHL, Carolina Hurricanes. They're currently in the playoffs right now. One of the best attended teams in the entire NHL. Really well supported by our area. We also have heard rumors, nothing official, that Major League Baseball is looking to the Raleigh area. Interesting fact, we have one of the largest populations in the country where a NBA basketball team, NFL football team, or a Major League Baseball team is not located. So it's looking more and more likely that down the road, one of the big three will be looking favorably in our area, and that will certainly be an exciting change and addition to our area, and we will of course let you guys know on this channel whenever we hear rumors that are becoming reality on that front. Another really great pro of our area is when you come here, you're going to feel more relaxed. And by that I mean, there's a lot of places in our country where it's pretty densely populated, where there's a lot of hustle and bustle and the stress of that, of being kind of in a small confined area. We are very blessed in the Raleigh Triangle area in that we don't have mountains or a coast blocking us in. We can continue growing and growing and growing. And for that reason, there's ample land here. We don't have to stress and compact people into a tight little area unless they want to be like in a downtown area. So there's a lot less stress involved in living here in our area than it is like New York City or one of the bigger cities. That also means it's usually easier to park, go do things, and go to a restaurant without having to hassle with driving around to park. I remember last time we went to Boston, we drove and we thought we would get out and walk in one of the parks when we were there to take a break. And it was like impossible to find parking. That's just not the case in our area. We're very fortunate in that we are well positioned when it comes to parking and doing things. It's not all compact and stressful. As well, along these same lines of being relaxed, we have a ton of nature trails. We talked about that a little bit earlier in this video. Over 100 miles of trails and greenways. Just a lot of opportunity if you are into getting outside in the great outdoors and communing with nature. Lots of opportunity there, and it's gonna make you more relaxed than being stuck under fluorescent lights for 24 hours a day in some big city somewhere. Another really great pro of our area is that typically when you move to a new city, it's gonna be stressful. You don't know anybody, you don't know your way around, and it's a big hassle. We're a little bit unique in that regard, in that because we're growing, people are moving here from all over the country and all over the world. So let's say you came from Los Angeles, it's very likely you're gonna run into somebody from Los Angeles that just moved here as well. So you're gonna feel a lot less anxious, a lot more at ease, in that you know someone that's sort of from your area. And in addition to that, because so many people are moving here from, again, all over the country, all over the world, it's very easy to make friends. So even if you don't meet a fellow Los Angelino, it's very likely you're going to be able to make friends with people who are here that are new and are wanting to have that fresh start as well. It's gonna make it so it's not as stressful as moving somewhere where it's dog eat dog, few jobs, compact area. It's just a whole different feeling of relaxation that you're gonna get living in the Raleigh area. Another great pro to living in Raleigh, North Carolina is it can feel like a relief. Like you're having a fresh start. We've helped hundreds of families over the last few years move to our area, and one common thing people have said over and over again is that it just feels like a relief moving here, that they're getting a fresh start, and that it's just a lot easier to live here than it is to live in a lot of other areas of the country. We don't have feet and feet and feet of snow that you've got to shovel every year and deal with all that hassle. Typically, people are living within about 20 or 30 minutes away from their work, so that commute is not that stressful. We've had some folks who are moving here from upstate New York, and they were telling the story how many people live around them and work in New York City. They have to drive to a bus stop area, get on a bus, take the bus an hour and a half into New York City one way, go to work, and then repeat it again at the end of the day. So they're literally gone from their homes from 5 a.m. until like 8 or 9 p.m. at night. That's absolutely no way to live. That is not how people generally live here in our area. And so there's a great relief in not having to deal with all that stuff here. As well, we don't have like crazy hurricanes like they have in the Gulf or in Florida or even on the coast of North Carolina, South Carolina. We have rain that comes from the hurricanes, but typically, not always, but typically hurricanes don't hit our area. We just get like torrential downpours, which helps with our water supply and our flowers, but we don't get like high winds tearing up buildings, that sort of thing. So it's really easy to live here. It's a breath of fresh air. And speaking of air, we have really good air quality here, especially relative to other areas of the country. Jonathan from our team and I were just meeting with some folks from Austin, Texas yesterday, and they said because of the way the land is in that part of Texas, that the air quality from Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas is really, really dry and dusty. And they were just really shocked how humid it was here and how you didn't have to deal with that sort of dry air, dust bowl kind of environment like they have here. We just have higher quality. It's easier. So those were some of the pros of our area. We need to go now and talk about some of the cons. And before we get into all the cons as to why you shouldn't live in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, I need to let you know that my real estate team and I are the top relocation team in the entire Triangle area. We help more out of state and out of town buyers navigate the process of buying a house in Raleigh than anyone. We can help you as well. Our contact information is below. We would love to set up a video call with you to sync up, to get an idea about what your timeline is and all of your needs so we can make sure that we find the ideal house for you. We're a growing area, and so that means we have a larger and larger population. That translates into some areas are getting crowded. It does feel a little bit difficult to drive around from point A to point B. Getting around in downtown Raleigh can be a little bit of a hassle, downtown Durham as well. It's just an effect of that population growth. And another negative of that population growth, it's sort of the case that if you're wanting to make a spur of the moment dinner reservation somewhere, it's kind of difficult to do that. The RH Bistro, which is on the top floor of the RH store in North Hills, is very, very difficult to make a last minute reservation to. Peregrine, one of our favorite restaurants in Midtown, same thing. Very difficult to make a last minute reservation. These are just two of like many, many, many examples out there where you sort of have to plan ahead of time. And in a lot of cities, you can just get in the car and drive to wherever and get right into a restaurant. It's just not the case in our area, again, because of the population, and that is a con. Another big con, and we've kind of touched on it already, is the congestion, the traffic. It is a bit of a hassle anymore that a trip that should take 15 minutes is now taking 20, 25, 30. And I know for those folks out there in the big, big cities, that doesn't sound like a big deal. Well, it is a big deal when you are used to a 15-minute drive and you mentally are budgeting 15 minutes to get from point A to point B, and now it's 30 minutes and you're late. It's an aggravation and a hassle, and this is definitely a con of living in our area and something we all that have been here a while need to be prepared for, expecting, etc. Another big con of our area is you can feel like you're being torn in different directions and that you're missing out on things. While we are very easy to get from point A to point B and just about anywhere in the Raleigh area pretty quickly, by and large, when you move here, you get excited that you're going to be able to go explore around. On the weekends, you live in Apex, you're going to drive to Durham, go to the downtown there, yada, yada, yada. It's not always that way. By and large, most of the time, if you live in Apex, you're going to stick around Apex. If you live in Raleigh, you're going to stick around Raleigh. Same thing with Durham. We live in Wake Forest. We say all the time we really want to go to Durham. Durham has one of the best food scenes in the entire country, and we never go. We always go into Midtown, to North Hills, or where Peregrine is at Midtown Exchange. Maybe we go to downtown Raleigh. Maybe we hang out and do something in Wake Forest or North Raleigh, but we never go to Durham. We very rarely go to Cary. If we do, we go to Fenton, or we go to sort of near Herons or Nios, which is a really great Greek restaurant. We're not like going downtown Cary to explore and do all that stuff. It's sort of a thing you have to force yourself to do. So one of the big cons of our area is we're fairly spread out, and so you're gonna miss out on things just strictly by the nature of finding your groove and living in the town that you moved to and work in, and that's your life. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, you can easily get from just about anywhere in the Raleigh Triangle area in about 45 minutes or less. It's just that people get in a groove and that's kind of where they stay. Another bit of a con for people, especially if you're moving from up north, is our summers are fairly hot and humid. It's like somewhat Florida-ish in the summer. 90 plus degrees and very, very humid. It's something that a lot of people just sort of don't prepare for, and the first summer is miserable. I remember my first year going to UNC Chapel Hill, and those of us from the coast of North Carolina, it was really, really hot that August. I remember, like, really crazy hot. And the people who were coming from out of state and from the mountains of North Carolina were like falling out like heat stroke. I'm being exaggerating, but you get my point. It's the sort of thing you have to get used to, and after a couple summers, you're okay with it. But know that if you're moving here, it's gonna be hot and it's gonna be humid in the summer, at least for 2 or 3 months. Another big con is we have nightlife here, but we're not Nashville, we're not LA, we're not New York City. It's sort of something that you're gonna go and have fun in select areas if nightlife is your thing, but know that the whole area is not like Party Central. We are not the Las Vegas Strip here in Raleigh. I can tell you that right now. And for some people, that is a con. Another big con is our housing prices are increasing. We are in hot demand. People wanna live here. People want to move here, and we are getting 45, 100 families, something like that, every single week moving to our area, and it's putting a strain on our housing. A lot of people are in rentals, but there still is a great demand to buy a home. And we are seeing when people come to us from our YouTube channel here to help them buy a home, we're having to explain to them that prices are not what they expect. That unfortunately, $1 million is not going to buy you a palatial mansion in Raleigh anymore. You're gonna get a nice home, but you're not gonna get like an estate. And I think a lot of people have a misnomer moving here that you're gonna get this tremendous bang for your buck. And a big con of our area is it's not always gonna be that case, that prices are what prices are in our area. And another big con of our area, because we're growing, is that construction is a thing. Constantly in our area, you're seeing buildings going up, neighborhoods going up, roads being redone and enlarged. In fact, I've heard rumors that they are thinking about making the traffic cone the official flower of the county. I'm joking, it's not that, well, it is that bad, but they're not making the traffic cone any kind of symbol of our area. We're having a lot of growth, and luckily our governments in our area are accounting for that. But right now we're going through the growing pains of having to deal with changing lanes and dealing with all that sort of thing. So that will eventually be a positive, but right now, construction is a big con for our area, something you gotta be prepared for if you decide to move to the Raleigh area. There's also no famous landmark that people come to. We don't have a Statue of Liberty. We don't have the Hollywood sign. We don't have anything like that in our area that draws people in that they wanna come see, or the St. Louis Arch. We don't have anything like that. Maybe one day we will, but that's sort of a con for people that want to have sort of a symbol of the area, that we really just don't have that. And of course, a huge con of our area is pollen. I did not tell you the truth earlier. I said, do we have all 4 seasons? We actually have 5 seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall, and pollen season. In the spring, it's especially bad. Isabella on our team and I both go through it, where we have to let each other know that it's time to start the Claritin, because any day now the pollen is going to get an inch thick. Thankfully this year it's not been that bad, but I have definitely been seeing the sneezing happening with me, with Isabella, and with other people we know around. So just know that even if you come from an area and you've never had allergies before, when you come here, it could be the case that you do have allergy and an allergic reaction to things. Isabella comes to us from Italy and then from Vegas. She didn't have allergies, and now every spring she suffers like I do, and we have to take the Claritin and get over it. And luckily it only takes about 2 to 3 weeks before you're done with pollen season, but it is a miserable 2 or 3 weeks. Big con that you need to be aware of should you be planning a move to our area. Another big con to our area, and we are not going to sugarcoat this, we can be a bit boring here. We've already talked about it earlier. We are not the Las Vegas Strip. We're not Nashville, New York City, downtown LA. We're not cool, hip, and trendy like that, where you can party hard for 24 hours a day if you want to do that. We do have a lot of things to do. It's fun. We have cool, interesting activities going on, but we're not a place that tourists go to like have a great time like Orlando. It's not what we do here. But honestly, this is actually one of the reasons a lot of people like living here. You don't have to deal with tourists. I can't imagine what it's like living in Orlando, Florida, with everybody coming in to go to Universal or Disney World or whatever. We don't have that here, and so the people that are here typically are either thinking about moving here or already do live here. You can definitely have a great lifestyle here, but you're just not going to get all that tourist stuff. Definitely Orlando, as an example, has tons of restaurants that we don't have here because the tourist industry drives all of that. We don't have 50 million hotels like they have. We don't have theme parks like they have. So if you really crave excitement and partying hard all hours of the day or night, Raleigh may not be a good fit for you. By and large, most evening activities end at about 2 a.m. and it's in fact difficult to find anywhere to have anything to eat after 10 p.m. We've told the story about going to the airport because we had an early morning flight and we didn't want to drive the 30, 40 minutes in the morning to get to the airport and go through security and all that stuff and have to deal with getting Winston situated before we left. And the Winston sitter comes and all that stuff. So we decided to go to the airport the night before. And we were probably filming a video, if I think back, likely that's what we were doing. And we were late getting gone. We didn't get to the airport until like 9:30 around the hotel. And by the time we checked in and then went to go get something to eat, everything was closed. The only thing available was like Waffle House. Not exactly fine dining, but it was what it was. And it was just something we had to deal with. It's something with even living here for a while, you just don't even realize that we don't have the advantages that like Los Angeles, New York has of 24-hour restaurants on every street corner. So can be a little boring, as we said. Now, I do need to say we do have a ton of activities. There's stuff going on all the time. You have great festivals and things in all of the different towns and cities that make up the triangle. We've got 30 towns and cities that make up our area. So there's always something going on, but you sort of have to like search them out and plan it. It's not like this thing that like, oh, I'm just gonna stumble downtown and there'll be some festival going on. It's not that way. You sort of have to map out your schedule for the different weekends. Just know that that's a thing. We do have stuff to do, but you just have to kind of find it. And all this encapsulated means we can be a little boring. The next big con, and I do mean big con, dealing with the whole school system can be very stressful. A lot of our schools are capped, which means even though you live near a school, your kids may not go to that school. And so you may have to go to another school that's nearby. They're building schools all the time and kids are getting redistricted into new schools. As well, a lot of parents have this big concern about school grades and niche.com grading. And so a high school may have an A and the middle school may have a B. And maybe you've got a high schooler and a middle schooler and you're trying to deal with finding a school that's going to be a good fit or school area that's going to be a good fit for the kids. And so it's stressful. As well, if you're planning to live near school A because you want to go to school A, again, you may not be going there. It may get redistricted. A new school may be built and your kids may not be going to school A. They may be going to a new school. And so basing where you live on a school is probably not a good idea because we don't know what could happen in the future. But just know that if you have concerns about the school system and where your kids should go to school, we have a consultant that does not work for us that we have sort of partnered with that we can refer you to that can give you some ideas of best school fit for your kids to make it a little bit easier for you to navigate this whole process and therefore, of course, navigate the whole process of buying a home. So reach out to us. Our info is below and we'll be happy to connect you with that counselor. The next big con of moving to the Raleigh area and living in the Raleigh area is our politics can be a bit confusing. And so right off the bat, I'm going to say what I say every single time we talk about politics on this channel. It's that we're politically agnostic. We don't take one side or the other, and we generally don't talk about politics on this channel. Our area is a very purple area. You're going to have a lot of conservatives, you're going to have a lot of liberals, and everybody's mixed all together. And to further complicate that, it's not like you can go live in city A and be in a liberal city or city B and live in a conservative city. We're very mixed up. You literally could be in a pocket of conservatism in a liberal city or vice versa, or people just mixed up on the same street. We know this can be confusing for people who aren't used to living in a purple swing state, but that's sort of the environment we live in. And so when you move here, that could be a con for you. I don't know. But as we always say, live and let live. So if the pros are outweighing the cons on this list and you are considering making that move, you're going to need expert guidance to help you find the ideal place for you to live in the Raleigh area. and my real estate team and I would be honored to be those guides for you. You can reach out to us at the contact information below, and we'll get a video call set up with you where we can meet virtually and make sure we're all on the same page and give you the service you deserve in your move to the Raleigh area. Check out this video. We think you're really going to like this one as well. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.